How we doing, guys? Just spent my first day in the camper, first night. Drove up to Scotland yesterday. I didn't film the journey. It was boring. It took me about 9 hours. It was a bad accident on the M6. Put a link to the location where I stopped last night. I think there's about 15 other campers here. Nice, easy to find, on the roadside. I'll go into more detail tonight about my setup and how I slept and set my bed up and this screen across the window. But I'll show you a quick tour of the van now. So, sleeping bag. Put some tools on there, axe, saw, PowerPoint, cooker, porridge, the essentials, coffee. And then the outdoors. As you can see, there's a camper there. There's a row of them down there. So just going to show you my setup. I've stopped for the night now. I'm not far from the Isle of Skye. I'm going to go see the Kilchurn Castle tomorrow. So it's absolutely tipping down rain. There's nothing much else to do. Make some food, have a beer and relax. So got me little screen up. It's just a sheet. My laptop, it's my bed, my sleeping bag on at the minute. My skylight lets in plenty of light. So I've got my tins and things in there. I'll keep me cooking gas, my cooker, all your utensils. What's my tools that I was showing you earlier. I've got a folding chair, my tripod, just a bit of storage space, and then my laptop on the parcel shelf. It's not too bad, there's plenty of room. I slept in it last night. You can hear the rain obviously, but other than that I can't complain about it. So I'll let you know how I get on in the morning. So it's the morning after. Just pulled over, I'm on the Isle of Skye. Had a really bad stormy, windy, rainy night last night. It wasn't too bad. Stopped off at Eileen Kennan Castle, I think it is. So I'm just going to go and explore the Isle of Skye. But I've just pulled over to do some dinner, so I thought I'd show you what it is I'm doing. So my little cooker and that going. Just pulled over. Some nice views you can't really see on here. I'll check in a bit. So I've decided to do a recap of that previous video because the video quality was terrible. I ended up filming all of that on my phone as best I could because personal situation I had to get rid of my GoPro. I have now got myself a new GoPro ready, so next video will be a lot better than this one. I'm going to cover everything what I should have covered in the last one, so where I store things, how I cook, how I set my bed up, how I slept, how I blocked out the light or stopped people looking in. All those types of things will be covered in the next video. So in this recap I just want to cover things like where I went to, what I did, where I stopped, how I set up, and if there's anything that I'd change with the van, because obviously it was the first weekend I'd spent away in the van since doing it. So if there's anything I liked, anything I disliked, anything I'd do differently next time. So I'm going to cover all those things in this short recap. So first of all, things I'd do differently. Silly as it sounds, I was quite happy with everything. Everything worked really well. The skylight was brilliant, didn't let in too much light or too much breeze, but it was just enough to keep the steady airflow throughout the night, so there was no condensation really. A little bit on the windscreen, but all the metal, all the exposed metal was fine. Floor was great, wasn't too cold. The bed was good. I mean, it wasn't the comfiest of beds, but I didn't have the foam on top, so I was essentially just sleeping on the plywood, but that was fine. The only grumble I do have is this charging port where I plug my phone in over night time. That only has power going to it when the car or when the van's unlocked. As soon as you lock the van over night time, the power to that supply stops. So it's great if you forget to unplug something, lock the van and walk away. It doesn't drain your battery. Not so great if you want to charge your phone and survive a night without being murdered. There's that to bear in mind. Really what I should have done was ran 12 volts straight from the battery to this end, and then I'd have a constant supply from the battery. Charging your phone overnight isn't gonna damage the battery. So another thing to bear in mind, which I may have liked to have done, was brought this kitchen side out another 100mm. The reason I left it as far back as I did was because I wanted to keep this as a functioning van as well as somewhere where I could sleep over the weekend. I like to mountain bike, so I had to have enough space in here to be able to get my mountain bike in here. I deliver parcels, so I had to have enough space obviously to have all my parcels in here. So the only reason I'd like to bring it out a little bit further is just when I have my laptop on there, I have to have the laptop overhanging so I can tilt the screen up. But other than that, it's great, it's perfect, exactly what I want it for. So the first night I was planning on stopping at Loch Lomond, just north of Glasgow. So I set off around 1 or 2 PM I believe. As I was driving north, got stuck in quite a lot of traffic. There'd been a bad accident on the M6. So the whole trip took me about 9 hours, I believe, 9.5 hours in the end to get there. But I did get to Loch Lomond. There was roughly 15-20 other campers just parked on the side road down by the lake. Really nice spot. I think I arrived around 10 or 11 PM, so I got my head down pretty much straight away. Next day, my main reason for going up to Scotland was to photograph the Glenfinnan Viaduct, so that was my main plan for this day. But unfortunately, when I got there, the weather was bad, the car park was full, there was nothing I could really do or photograph. So apart from all the photos I got along the way, that day was a complete write-off. I went and parked up around 5 PM, found myself a little spot using Wiki Camps. Parked on the riverbed and I sat down. I decided it was too early to park up, so I jumped on the driver's seat again, carried on, went up the old military road and ended up parking up, I wouldn't say cliff face, but I was right on top of the hill overlooking a beautiful lake, quite close to the Eilean Donnan Castle, which was my plan for the next day. The weather was atrocious, it was windy, it was raining extremely heavily, the van was shaking all over the place, so I thought I was going to end up in the lake. Next day, woke up quite early, carried on driving, went down to Eilean Donnan Castle nice and early. It was before it even opened, so I did more rounds around there, got a load of photos. Decided to carry on to the Isle of Skye, travel around the Isle of Skye, did the loop of the road around the north part of the Isle of Skye, did the Old Manor store, visited that, visited all the things that caught my eye along the way around the island, and then I decided, because it wasn't too late, I was going to try and get back to the Glenfinnan Viaduct and photograph that for a second time. Again, as soon as I got within 20 minutes of the viaduct, it was hammering it down with rain, so I aborted that mission and decided I was going to head home early and spend an extra day in bed at home before going back to work. Got as far as Loch Lomond again and I was absolutely shattered. It was pitch black, it was raining heavily, couldn't see the road properly, so I decided to pull over, spend the night there, and I set off about 6 or 7 AM in the morning nice and early and got back home around dinner time. So yeah, van drove really well. I mean, it's not a lot of extra weight, so you didn't feel it, didn't notice it. It was a really good weekend, good maiden voyage for the van, so extremely happy with the way it performed. As I say, next weekend I'm going down to Stonehenge, so Salisbury, for the weekend. I'll be documenting that more in depth, show you a bit more about what I take with me on the weekend, where I store everything, how I set my bed up, and I'll be doing all this on my new GoPro, so it'll be nice and clear, nice and crisp. Cheers.